The moment Maya Whitaker climbed into the back seat of my car at the drive-in and said, "The movie can wait," I forgot every reasonable thought I'd brought with me. And I had brought several. Don't read into this. She's your neighbor. She's probably just being friendly. Do not become the guy who falls in love because a woman laughed at your dumb joke about laundry detergent. But there she was, barefoot on the old leather seat of my Chevy Impala, wearing cut-off jeans, a soft blue sweater sliding off one shoulder, and looking at me like she had already decided something I hadn't been brave enough to consider. I'm Caleb Hart. I was 25 then, working as an apprentice electrician in Asheville, renting the downstairs half of a small duplex that leaned slightly to the left if you looked at it too long. My life was quiet by design. Work, grocery store, gym, when guilt got loud enough, and Sunday calls with my mom where I promised I was getting out more, which was a lie we both respected. Then Maya moved into the upstairs unit with 12 cardboard boxes, a chipped yellow kettle, and the kind of smile that made a man check whether he had sawdust on his face. She was 24, taught third grade, and had a way of making every ordinary thing sound like a dare. The first time we spoke, she was standing in the shared driveway with a flat tire and look of deep personal betrayal. "Do you know anything about cars?" she asked. "A little." "Great. Can you tell mine it's being dramatic?" I changed the tire while she crouched beside me, not helpless, just curious, asking questions and handing me tools before I asked for them. When I finished, she offered me half a granola bar from her purse, like it was currency. "It's peanut butter," she said, "slightly crushed, but emotionally available." I should have known right there I was in trouble. For 2 months, Maya and I became hallway people. We met at the mailbox. We traded packages. She borrowed a ladder once and returned it with a sticky note that said, "Your ladder has trust issues, but we worked through it." I liked her more than I admitted. Not because she needed anything from me. That was the dangerous part. Maya didn't float through life waiting to be saved. She carried her own boxes, fixed her own sink with a YouTube tutorial and terrifying confidence, and once shooed a wasp out of the laundry room using a mixing bowl and a cereal box. I liked the way she paused before answering serious questions, like honesty mattered enough to measure. I liked the little scar near her eyebrow she said came from an unfortunate hula hoop incident. And I liked how she remembered that I hated cilantro after one conversation. Mostly, I liked that she looked directly at me. Not through me, not around me, at me, which was why I kept my distance. A year before Maya moved in, I dated a woman who treated me like a waiting room, comfortable enough to sit in until something better called her name. I learned afterward that being useful could feel a lot like being loved if you were lonely enough. So with Maya, I joked, I helped. I nodded across the driveway like a well-trained golden retriever. I did not ask her out. Then, on a Friday afternoon in June, I came home from a job rewiring a bakery and found Maya sitting on my front steps with 2 paper cups of lemonade and a paper bag between her sandals. "You look electrocuted," she said. "I prefer professionally seasoned." She handed me a cup. "Drink. You're doing that thing where your soul is trying to leave through your forehead." I sat beside her, careful to leave a few inches between us. The air smelled like cut grass and hot pavement. Somewhere upstairs, her window unit hummed like it was considering retirement. "What's in the bag?" I asked. "Cornbread muffins from the farmer's market." "For me?" "For us. Don't get emotional." I wasn't. You blinked tenderly. I laughed, and she smiled into her lemonade like she'd won something. Then she pulled 2 tickets from her back pocket. Drive-in tickets, a double feature. Some old romantic comedy followed by a monster movie from the 80s. "My friend got sick," she said too quickly. "I have an extra ticket." "You own a car big enough to qualify as a small apartment." It felt practical. "Practical," I repeated. "Very. Not a date?" Maya looked at me then, and the whole summer seemed to lean closer. "Would that scare you?" she asked. I had been shocked by live wires that felt less direct. I took a sip of lemonade to buy time. It was too sweet. Or maybe my pulse had started misreading things. "No," I said. "I just like knowing what kind of trouble I'm agreeing to." Her smile softened around the edges. Maybe the kind with popcorn. That should have been simple, casual, neighborly. Two people watching movies in a field full of cars and mosquito repellent. Except Maya changed clothes before we left. Not dramatically. Not like a movie scene where the woman comes down the stairs and the man forgets language. She came down the outside steps wearing that soft blue sweater and denim shorts, her hair loose around her shoulders, carrying a blanket rolled under one arm. I was standing by the Impala pretending to check the tire pressure. There was no tire pressure problem. "You okay?" she asked. "Fine." "You're staring at the front passenger door like it owes you money. I'm just wondering if the seatbelt works." She opened the door, leaned in, tugged it once, then looked back at me. "It works." "Good." "Caleb." "Yeah?" "You can breathe. It's not legally binding until the previews." I looked away, grinning to spite myself. The drive to the Starlight Drive-In took 20 minutes, through low hills and two-lane roads glowing gold in the evening light. Maya messed with the radio until she found an old soul station, then sang quietly under her breath. Not performing, just existing comfortably beside me. I wanted to hold her hand. That surprised me more than wanting to kiss her. Kissing was easy to imagine. Holding hands meant I wanted the small public truth of her fingers between mine. At the ticket booth, the woman inside glanced from Maya to me and smiled. "Date night?" I opened my mouth to correct her. Maya beat me to it. "First one," she said. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. The woman gave us a red paper ticket and said, "Then park near the middle. Best view." Maya looked straight ahead, calm as anything. But I saw her cheeks color. First one. Not fake. Not accidental. Not practical. First. We parked near the middle between a pickup full of teenagers and a minivan with 3 kids already in pajamas. The big white screen towered ahead of us, blank and waiting. I tuned the radio to the station printed on the ticket while Maya arranged the blanket across our laps like we had done this 100 times. Her knee brushed mine. Neither of us moved. "You said first date back there," I said. "I did." "Was that for the ticket lady?" "No." The radio crackled. An announcer welcomed everyone to the Starlight. Around us, people laughed, doors opened, coolers thumped against gravel. Maya stared at the empty screen. "I got tired of pretending I only come downstairs because your toolbox is impressive." I turned toward her. She still didn't look at me. "And before you say something careful," she added, "I know you're careful. I like that about you, mostly. Sometimes it makes me want to throw a muffin at your head." I let out a nervous laugh. That would be a waste of a muffin. "I brought 6. She finally looked at me, and there it was again. That directness, that dare. The opening cartoon flickered to life on the screen, bathing her face in pale blue light. I could have kissed her then. I think she knew it. I think she waited one breath to see if I would. But old fear is a stubborn little landlord. It lives in your chest and refuses to move out even when someone better knocks on the door. So I looked forward and said, "We should probably watch the movie." For 5 seconds, Maya said nothing. Then she unbuckled her seatbelt. My heart kicked. She grabbed the blanket, opened her door, and before I could ask what she was doing, she climbed into the back seat of the Impala with the grace of someone who had made up her mind long before we arrived. I turned around. Maya patted the seat beside her. "The movie can wait," she said. And just as I reached for my own seatbelt, my phone lit up in the cup holder with a text from a number I hadn't seen in almost a year. "My ex. I miss you. We need to talk. Tonight." For a second, the whole drive-in disappeared. Not literally. The cartoon still flickered across the windshield. Kids still shrieked near the concession stand. Somewhere to our left, a guy was losing an argument with a lawn chair, but all I saw was that text. "I miss you. We need to talk. Tonight." Maya saw my face change before I could hide it. "Everything okay?" she asked. I picked up the phone, glanced at the name I had never quite deleted, and felt something sour twist in my stomach. "It's no one." Maya's expression didn't harden. That would have been easier. Instead, she went still in a way that made me feel worse. "Caleb." I looked back at her. She was sitting in the back seat with one knee tucked under her, the blue sweater falling wide at her collarbone, the blanket gathered in her lap. She had just invited me closer, plainly, bravely, and I was sitting up front holding a ghost. "It's my ex," I said. The words came out rougher than I meant. Maya nodded once, slowly. "The waiting room one?" I blinked. She shrugged. "You didn't call her that, but I pay attention." That did something to me. Softened a place I usually kept locked. "Her name's Elise," I said. "We haven't talked in almost a year. And she picked tonight to discover literacy." Despite everything, I laughed. Maya's mouth curved, but her eyes stayed careful. "Do you want to answer her?" "No." The answer came faster than I expected. Maya's shoulders eased a little. I turned the phone face down in the cup holder. Then, because that didn't feel like enough, I powered it off completely. The screen went black. It felt like shutting a door. When I looked back, Maya was watching me with an expression I couldn't read. "What?" I asked. "Nothing." "That is not a nothing face. It's a maybe I misjudged you face. Good or bad?" "Still collecting data." I unbuckled my seatbelt and climbed into the back seat. The Impala had plenty of room, but I suddenly had no idea what to do with my elbows, knees, or personality. Maya shifted to make space, and I sat beside her, too aware of everything: the warm leather under my palms, the buttery smell of popcorn, the faint vanilla of her shampoo. The movie played across the front windshield in silence, since the radio was still up front. Two actors on screen appeared to be arguing passionately beside a fountain. Maya nodded toward them. "They seem upset." "Probably because we abandoned them. Rude of us." "I'll send a fruit basket." She smiled, then looked down at her hands. Her confidence from a minute ago flickered, and I realized courage didn't mean she wasn't nervous. It meant she had climbed into the back seat anyway. "Maya," I said. "Yeah?" "I wanted to come back here before the text." Her eyes lifted to mine. I swallowed. "I just got scared." "Of me?" "No." I shook my head. "Of wanting something and being wrong again." The confession landed between us, small but heavy. Outside, someone honked twice at a friend. A baby cried. The projector beam cut through the darkening sky above the cars. Maya didn't rush to reassure me. She didn't turn me into a wounded project. She just moved the blanket so it covered both our knees and rested her shoulder lightly against mine. "I'm not asking you to promise me forever in a parking lot," she said. "I'm asking you to stop acting like wanting me is a federal offense." I stared at her. Then I laughed, quiet and helpless. She smiled. "There he is." "I do want you," I said. Her smile faded, not vanished, changed, became something warmer and more dangerous. "Okay," she whispered. My pulse thudded everywhere. "Okay? Okay." I turned toward her slow enough that she had every chance to lean away. She didn't. Maya leaned in first. That was the thing I would remember later. Not the movie, not the text, not even the taste of her mouth at first. I'd remember that she chose the space between us and crossed it. Her lips brushed mine, soft and testing. I went still for half a heartbeat, stunned by the simple fact of it. Then I kissed her back. The drive-in became sound without meaning: muffled laughter, radio dialogue from nearby cars, gravel under shoes. Maya's hand came to my chest, fingers curling lightly in my shirt, and I forgot how long I'd been trying not to need this. The kiss deepened slowly. Not frantic, not careless. It was a conversation we should have had weeks ago, every pause and breath saying, "Yes, this. Yes, you. Yes, finally." When we broke apart, her forehead rested against mine. "Well," she murmured, "the ticket lady was right about the middle row." I laughed against her mouth. "Great view." "Are you talking about the screen?" "No." "Good answer." I brushed a strand of hair away from her cheek, and the tenderness of the gesture almost undid me more than the kiss. "I should tell you something," I said. Her fingers were still holding my shirt. "If it's that you secretly hate cornbread, choose your next words carefully." "I'm serious." "I know." Her thumb moved once against my chest. "Tell me." I exhaled. Elise didn't just leave. She came back a few times when things got hard with whoever she was dating, and I let her. Not because I thought we'd work, but because being needed felt close enough to being loved. Maya's eyes softened, but she didn't pity me. I don't want to do that anymore, I said. With anyone, including you. Good. That surprised me. Good? I don't want to be your proof that you're useful. She leaned back enough to see me fully. I like you, Caleb. Not because you changed my tire or carry heavy things like some emotionally repressed lumberjack. Electrician. Same flannel energy. I own 2 flannels. Both loud. I smiled. She did too, but her voice was gentle when she continued. I like how you listen. I like how you pretend not to be funny and then say things that make me choke on lemonade. I like that you're careful, even when it makes me want to shake you. And I really like the way you turned off your phone. My chest tightened. That wasn't for show, I said. I know. Then she kissed me again, shorter this time, sweet enough to make my hands curl around the edge of the seat. I wanted to touch her waist. I wanted to pull her closer. I also wanted to not rush a single second. Maya seemed to read the war on my face because she took my hand and placed it on her hip herself. There, she said softly. No federal charges. I let out a shaky breath. Your trouble. Practical trouble. Very practical. She tucked herself against my side, and I wrapped an arm around her. The movie's blue light moved over her face as she settled under my chin like she belonged there, which was terrifying because some part of me believed she did. We stayed like that through half the romantic comedy without hearing a word of it. At some point, Maya reached forward with her foot and dragged the bag of muffins from the front seat onto the floor. Impressive, I said. Teacher toes, very advanced. We shared cornbread muffins in the dark, dropping crumbs on my back seat, whispering commentary about a plot we weren't following. Every few minutes, her knee nudged mine, or my thumb traced a slow line over the soft knit at her waist, and the night seemed to narrow down to warmth and nearness. Then my phone buzzed, not from the cup holder, from my pocket. I froze. Maya felt it. I thought you turned it off. I did. I pulled it out. The screen glowed with another message from Elise. I'm at your place. Your upstairs neighbor isn't answering either. Where are you? Maya read it over my shoulder. For one sharp second, worry crossed her face. Then she looked at me, not frightened. Waiting. I powered the phone off again and set it on the floor. I'm here, I said. Her gaze searched mine. With you, I added. Maya's hand slid into mine under the blanket. Then stay, she whispered. So I did. Staying sounded simple until the words settled in my chest. Then it became the bravest thing I'd done in months. I stayed. Not because I was ignoring a problem, not because Maya asked sweetly and I was too dazzled to think. I stayed because, for once, the person in front of me mattered more than the person trying to pull me backward. Maya didn't celebrate. She didn't say, good boy, or make a joke at Elise's expense. She just squeezed my hand beneath the blanket and leaned her head back against my shoulder. The monster movie started after intermission, all fog machines and rubber tentacles. Neither of us cared. We had moved from careful kissing into something quieter, more dangerous in its own way. Comfort. Her fingers were threaded through mine. My thumb moved over her knuckles. Every now and then she tilted her face up, and I kissed her because I could, because she wanted me to, because I wanted her so badly it made me almost solemn. At one point she whispered, You're very intense for a man watching a swamp creature eat a canoe. I'm concentrating. On the creature? On not kissing you every 6 seconds. Her smile flashed in the dark. That sounds like a personal discipline issue. It is. I support your growth. She paused, but not too much. So I kissed her again. This one got away from us a little. Maya shifted closer, one knee over mine, her hand sliding up the side of my neck. I cupped her cheek, felt her smile fade as the kiss deepened. The windows had fogged at the edges. The whole world beyond the Impala blurred into light and shadow and faraway movie screams. When we stopped, we were both breathing harder. Maya rested her forehead against my collarbone and gave a small laugh. Okay. Okay, good or okay, stop. She looked up immediately. Okay, good. Just okay. Wow. I grinned before I could help it. Do not look smug, she said. I'm trying to be humble. You're failing with your whole face. I pressed my smile into her hair. Noted. For a while, we watched the movie in pieces. A scientist yelled about radiation. The swamp creature took offense. Maya fed me the last cornbread muffin and brushed crumbs from my shirt with exaggerated seriousness. There, she said. Date maintenance. So, this is still a date? She went quiet for half a second. I hope so. The uncertainty in her voice hit me harder than flirtation ever could. I shifted so I could see her better. Maya. What? This is definitely a date. Her mouth softened. And if you'll let me, I'd like there to be a second one. She blinked like she hadn't expected me to say it plainly. Then she tried to cover it with a tease. That depends. On whether you plan the second one or if I have to lure you outdoors again with baked goods. I can plan. Bold claim. Dinner, I said. Saturday. That little Thai place on Marymount you said has the good basil noodles? Then ice cream after because you once called ice cream the most emotionally stable dessert. Maya stared at me. What? I asked. You remembered that? I pay attention too. Her eyes shone in the flickering light. For the first time that night, she looked away first. The gesture was so unlike her that I felt something inside me tilt. Hey, I said softly. She took a breath, then laughed at herself. Sorry, I'm not used to being remembered like that. There it was. The door cracked open. I didn't shove through, I waited. Maya picked at the edge of the blanket. My last boyfriend was charming in public and bored in private. He liked the idea of dating a teacher. Sweet, patient, good with kids. But whenever I had opinions or bad days or wanted anything inconvenient, he acted like I'd broken character. My jaw tightened, but I kept still. She glanced up. Don't make the murder face. I'm not. You are. It's very handsome, but still. That almost got a laugh out of me. Almost. I just hate that, I said. Me too. She looked down at our joined hands. So, when you remember small things, it gets under my skin. In a good way. A scary way. I lifted her hand and kissed her knuckles. Maya went very still. You don't have to perform with me, I said. Not patient. Not easy. Not charming. Just you. Her lips parted slightly, and for a second, I thought she might make another joke. Instead, she leaned in and kissed me with a tenderness that stole every word I had left. It wasn't the kind of kiss that fogged windows, it was worse. It made promises without saying them. When the credits rolled, neither of us moved. Cars began starting around us, engines coughing to life. Headlights swept across the windshield. The drive-in slowly transformed from a secret little world back into a gravel lot full of people with curfews and sticky children. Maya sighed. We probably have to go home. Probably. Unless your Impala also has a kitchen and a bathroom. Trunk's roomy, but legally I should say no. She laughed and untangled herself, though she kept hold of my hand until the last possible second. I climbed back into the driver's seat, cold air hitting me where her warmth had been. I turned the key and the engine rumbled awake. For a moment, I didn't turn on my phone. I didn't want the outside world yet. Maya buckled up beside me, quieter now. Are you worried? I asked. About Elise being at the duplex? She looked out at the rows of taillights. A little. Not because of her exactly, I don't know her, but because I know how people can make themselves feel urgent. I absorbed that. She was good at that, I admitted. If she needed something, it became the weather. Everyone had to adjust. Maya nodded. And what do you want to do? The question mattered. Not what should we do. Not what will make this easiest. What do you want? I want to take you home, I said. Walk you to your door. Make sure she leaves if she's still there. Then I want to tell her not to contact me again. Maya turned toward me. You don't have to do that for my benefit. I'm not. I tightened my hands on the wheel, then loosened them. I should have done it for mine a long time ago. Her expression softened with something like pride, and it warmed me more than it should have. Okay, she said, and for the record, I don't need you to handle my doorway like a medieval knight. I know, but if you're offering to walk me up because you want 3 more minutes with me, I am absolutely offering for that reason. Then accepted. The drive back felt different from the drive there. On the way out, every silence had been charged with what might happen. On the way home, the silence had shape. Her hand rested palm up on the console between us, and after the first red light, I took it. She smiled but didn't look over. I'm holding you to Saturday, she said. Good. And I'm ordering extra spring rolls. As your date, I support you. As my date, you may be asked to share. I'll prepare emotionally. She laughed, and the sound loosened the last knot of the night. Then we turned onto our street. Elise's silver sedan was parked crookedly along the curb in front of the duplex, one tire nudged up onto the grass. Maya's hand tightened once around mine. I parked behind it and shut off the engine. For a moment, neither of us moved. Then Maya unbuckled, turned in her seat, and touched my jaw lightly. Before you go be mature and emotionally healthy, she said, come here. I did. She kissed me slow and sure, not hiding, not hurrying, with the porch light glowing ahead and my past parked 10 yards away. When she pulled back, her eyes held mine. That, she whispered, is what tonight is. I nodded, breathless. Then we got out of the car together. Elise was sitting on the porch swing like she still belonged there. That was the first thing that hit me. Not her hair, shorter now. Not the expensive white jacket she never would have risked on our dusty old porch when we were together. Not even the look on her face when she saw Maya step out of my car behind me. It was the way Elise occupied the space. Casual, familiar. As if the duplex had been waiting for her to return and apologize for the inconvenience. Caleb, she said, standing. Maya came around the front of the Impala and stopped beside me. Not behind me, beside me, Elise noticed. Her eyes flicked over Maya's bare legs, the blue sweater, my hand hovering near Maya's as if it had forgotten how not to reach for her. Oh, Elise said, I didn't realize you had company. Maya's smile was polite enough to cut glass. Neighbor, date, depends how current your information is. I coughed once into my fist. Elise's gaze sharpened. Can we talk privately? A year ago, I would have said yes automatically. I would have moved toward urgency like a dog hearing its name. Now I looked at Maya, not for permission, for honesty. She gave the smallest nod, then touched my wrist. I'll be upstairs. I caught her fingers before she could pull away. Wait a second. Maya looked surprised. So did Elise. I turned to Elise. If this is about anything practical, say it here. If it's personal, I don't want to have that conversation. Elise blinked, like I'd answered in a language she didn't speak. I drove 40 minutes, she said. I didn't ask you to. The words were not cruel. That mattered to me. I didn't want cruelty, I wanted clarity. Her mouth tightened. I made a mistake. The porch light hummed above us. Moths battered themselves against the glass. I'm sorry, she continued. I've been thinking about us, about how good you were to me. Beside me, Maya went very still. And maybe it was that stillness that saved me from old habits, because I heard Elise clearly this time, how good you were to me, not how much I loved you, not I miss who you are, not I hurt you, just the part where I had been useful. I hope you're okay, I said. I mean that, but I'm not available for this anymore. Elise stared at me. You can't just shut me out. I can. Her laugh came out brittle. Is this because of her? Maya lifted one eyebrow. I'm standing right here, so if we're doing pronouns, let's at least make them flattering. Despite the tension, my mouth twitched. Elise ignored her. You always do this. You let someone else decide what you feel. That one might have landed once. Tonight, it didn't. No, I said. That's what I used to do with you. Silence. Maya's fingers brushed mine, light as breath. I took them. Elise looked down at our joined hands, and something in her face shifted from anger to embarrassment. Maybe hurt. Maybe both. I came because I thought you'd talk to me, she said quietly. I would've, I admitted. Before. The honesty cost me something, but not as much as pretending would have. She nodded once, hard, like she hated that she understood. Fine, she said. She walked past us down the steps, heels clicking too loudly on the wood. At her car door, she paused. You could have told me sooner. You could have asked before showing up at my home. She didn't answer. A minute later, her sedan pulled away from the curb and disappeared around the corner. The night exhaled. I realized I was still holding Maya's hand. She looked down at our fingers, then up at me. You okay? Yeah. I blew out a breath. Weirdly, yeah. You were very firm. Was I? Extremely. I almost applauded, but I didn't want to look unsupportive of personal growth. I laughed and the sound came out shaky. Maya squeezed my hand. Hey, I looked at her. Pride was there again, but softer now, mixed with something that made my chest ache. You chose yourself, she said. That matters. I stepped closer. I chose you too. Her expression changed. I hadn't meant to say it quite like that, or maybe I had. The street was quiet around us. Porch light, summer insects, her hand warm in mine. The movie was over. The drama had driven away. All that remained was the thing I'd been trying not to name. Maya swallowed. Caleb. I know it's one date, I said. I'm not trying to make this too much. Too late, she whispered, but she was smiling. I chose getting in that back seat. I chose turning off my phone. I chose bringing you home and not letting my past take the wheel. My thumb moved over her knuckles. And if you want, I'm choosing Saturday. And after Saturday, I'd like to choose whatever comes next. Her eyes brightened. Careful, she said softly. That almost sounded brave. I'm practicing. On me? With you. That did it. Maya rose on her toes and kissed me on the front walk. It wasn't a goodbye kiss. It wasn't proof for Elise, who was gone anyway. It was full of relief and want and the shaky laughter of two people realizing they had stepped over the line and liked the ground better on this side. My hand settled at her waist. Hers slid up my chest, and when she leaned into me, I felt the last hour leave my body. She broke the kiss first, but not by much. I should go upstairs, she said. Probably. Teachers need sleep. Electricians too. Lies. You're fueled by gas station coffee and unresolved tension. Less unresolved than yesterday. Her smile went soft and private. Yeah. We stood there grinning at each other like idiots until the porch light flickered twice. Maya glanced up. Your duplex is judging us. It leans left. Its opinions are unreliable. She laughed, then tugged me toward the stairs. At the bottom step, she turned. Walk me up? As your neighbor or your date? She pretended to think. Date. Neighbors don't get porch kisses. I'm learning so many rules. Keep up, Hart. I followed her up the exterior staircase to her landing. Her door had a little wreath made of dried lavender, and one of her students had apparently drawn a crooked rainbow on a card taped beside the frame. Maya noticed me looking. End of year gift. It's good. The sun has 8 legs. Ambitious sun. She unlocked her door, then hesitated with her hand on the knob. The air changed again, not heavy, honest. I had a really good time tonight, she said, even with the interruption, especially after it. She faced me fully. Not because I enjoyed that part, but because I got to see who you are when something hard asks for the old version of you. My throat tightened. And I like this version very much. I looked at her mouth, tried not to, failed. Maya. Yeah? I'm going to kiss you goodnight now. Her smile was slow. Thank goodness. I was worried you were about to give a safety briefing. I can do both. Don't you dare. So I kissed her. Slow. Careful at first, then less careful when she made that small sound against my mouth and pulled me closer by my shirt. The railing pressed against my back. Her door was half open behind her. The lavender wreath brushed my shoulder. When we parted, I rested my forehead against hers. "Saturday," I said. "Saturday," she agreed. Then she surprised me by taking my hand and pressing it to her cheek for one brief second. "Good night, Caleb." "Good night, Maya." I made it halfway down the stairs before she called my name. I turned. She stood in her doorway, cheeks flushed, eyes bright. "The movie really could wait," she said. I smiled all the way back to my apartment. And for the first time in a long time, when I walked into my quiet little living room alone, it didn't feel empty. It felt like the pause before something good. Saturday came with rain. Not dramatic rain, not movie rain. Asheville rain, soft and stubborn, turning sidewalks shiny and making my hair do things no man should have to explain. I stood outside Maya's door at 6 with an umbrella, a reservation I had confirmed twice, and a paper bag in my hand. She opened the door wearing a green dress and silver earrings shaped like tiny moons. For a moment, every plan I'd made left my head. Maya looked me over. "You brought an umbrella." "I did." "And a bag." "Yes." "Is it full of emergency muffins?" "Better." I held it out. "Gas station coffee and emotional stability." She peeked inside and laughed. "Ice cream gift card?" "For after dinner, in case the rain tries to ruin dessert." Her smile went quiet. "You planned around me." "I planned with you in mind." Her eyes lifted to mine, and there it was again. That soft, scary look, like being remembered, still surprised her. I stepped closer. "You look beautiful." She took a breath, then reached out and straightened the collar of my shirt, even though it didn't need straightening. "You look very dateable," she said. "High praise." "Don't get arrogant." "Too late, I have an umbrella." Dinner lasted 2 hours. We ordered basil noodles, spring rolls, and something spicy enough to make Maya fan her mouth with the menu, while insisting she was thriving. She told me about the little boy in her class who had written a story where the moon was lonely and adopted a raccoon. I told her about the bakery job and the old owner who paid me in cinnamon rolls after the final inspection. We talked about families, about money, about bad habits, about how she hated being called sweet by people who meant quiet, about how I had mistaken calm for safety for too long. And between all that, we flirted like it was a skill we were inventing together. Under the table, her knee bumped mine. "Accident?" I asked. "Research." "Findings?" "You're still nervous." "I'm on a date with a woman who climbed into my back seat and changed my life." "I think nerves are fair." Maya's cheeks turned pink. She looked down, smiling into her water glass. "Changed your life, huh?" I could have joked. I didn't. "Yeah," I said. "A little." The rain had stopped by the time we walked to the ice cream shop. The whole street smelled like wet brick and summer leaves. Maya chose honey lavender. I chose chocolate because I'm not a complicated man. We ate under the awning, shoulder to shoulder. At some point, she leaned into me and I put my arm around her without asking the air for permission. "I like this," she said. "Your ice cream?" "This." She tilted her head against my shoulder. Not guessing, not performing, just being wanted clearly. I kissed the top of her hair. "I can do clearly." She looked up. "Prove it." So right there under the striped awning with rain dripping from the edge and cars hissing by on the street, I kissed her. Not like the drive-in, hidden in the back seat. Not like the porch, warmed by the victory of a closed door. This was public and simple. This was me choosing her where anyone could see. Maya smiled against my mouth. "Good proof. I have supporting evidence if needed. I'll review it later." I walked her home slowly, hand in hand, taking the long way without discussing it. At her stairs, she paused, then tugged me down until our foreheads touched. "I'm scared," she whispered. The confession didn't frighten me. It made me want to be careful with her in the right way. "Me too, but I don't want to stop." "Me neither." Her fingers tightened around mine. "Then don't disappear when it gets real." "I won't. And don't turn me into something safe just because safe is easier than honest." That one went straight through me. I won't, I said again. But you have to tell me when I'm doing it. Oh, I will absolutely provide feedback. I figured. Possibly with charts. Teacher. Emotionally available teacher. I laughed and she kissed me once more before going inside. That was the beginning, really. Not the drive-in, not the back seat, not even Elise on the porch. The beginning was Saturday, when fear stayed in the room and neither of us mistook it for a warning. After that, Maya and I became less careful in public and more honest in private. We still lived in the same leaning duplex, which meant dating came with strange conveniences. She could knock on my ceiling when her sink made a noise. I could text her, "Your laundry has been abandoned in the dryer and is requesting legal counsel." She could appear on my doorstep with takeout and say, "I had a day. Feed me and tell me something ridiculous." Sometimes we argued. The first real fight was over me saying "whatever you want" too many times while pretending it was kindness. Maya sat across from me on her kitchen floor, eating noodles straight from the carton, and said, "Caleb, I am not dating a permission slip. Have an opinion." So I did. Badly at first, then better. She learned me too. Learned that when I went quiet, I wasn't always angry. Sometimes I was trying to sort the wires before I spoke. She stopped filling every silence. I stopped using silence as a hiding place. Elise texted twice more. I didn't answer. Eventually, the messages stopped feeling like a test. By autumn, Maya had a toothbrush in my bathroom and a drawer she claimed was temporary, despite filling it with sweaters, socks, and one alarming pair of fuzzy orange slippers. By winter, I knew the exact sound of her footsteps on the stairs. By spring, the duplex still leaned left, but my life didn't. A year after that night at the drive-in, I took Maya back to the Starlight. Same Impala, same middle row, different movie. This time, I brought a cooler with lemonade, cornbread muffins, and a blanket she recognized instantly. "You kept it?" she asked, sliding into the front seat. "Of course." She touched the worn edge. Sentimental heart. "Don't tell anyone." "I'm telling everyone." Before the preview started, she looked at me with a suspicious little smile. "Are you going to make me climb into the back seat again?" "I would never make you." Her eyes softened. "But I was hoping you'd want to." Maya unbuckled her seatbelt. My heart, even after a year of loving her, still forgot its manners. She climbed into the back and patted the seat beside her, just like before. "The movie can wait," she said. I followed her, laughing, and found her already holding out her hand. There was no ex texting, no old life waiting on the porch, no urgent ghost demanding I prove my worth. Just Maya, warm beside me in the blue glow of the screen. Her head on my shoulder, her fingers laced with mine like the answer to a question I'd been asking long before I met her. Halfway through the first scene, she whispered, "You okay?" I looked down at her. The woman who had challenged me, chosen me, teased me into bravery, and stayed when honesty got uncomfortable. I kissed her forehead. "Yeah," I said, "I'm here." And this time, I meant it with my whole life. What would you have done if you took your neighbor to a drive-in movie and she climbed into the back seat saying, "The movie can wait," right as your ex started texting? Have you ever experienced something similar where the past showed up just as something new was beginning? Tell your story in the comments. And for those who'd like to be a little closer to us, we've opened memberships where you'll get shorter exclusive stories every week with no ads. If you like this one, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.